Hi guys and welcome to our channel. My name is Francesca.
My name is Anna Chiara.
And today we will do a reaction to a video that is titled 5 Reasons Why You Shouldn't Mess with the USA. I'm really curious to see what this video is about. Both Anna and I lived in the United States for a little bit, and I can say that there are things that I experienced that are seen like a really big deal in the US, where in Italy, for example, are quite normal. I would mention, for example, the alcohol consumption. Here in Italy is quite normal to see young people drinking alcohol, which I wouldn't say that is a good thing, but for example, I think alcohol became illegal to drink under 18 years old only like 6 years ago? Less than 10 years ago?
Yeah, it was 6. I don't know if you can't buy alcohol, but you can drink it.
Maybe. See, it's not...
we don't know actually
Yeah.
if it's 16 or 18.
I
We're
remember
not really
when
sure.
I was younger, when I was 16, I was legally allowed to buy alcohol at 16, then it became 18, but I think it's more about drinking alcohol, buying alcohol rather than drinking alcohol, where in the United States this is really a big deal, and you shouldn't mess about this because you can end up in jail. And it was 21. I want to tell you this. For example, I remember one day I was in the States, I was just got there, and I was with some friends, and I was drinking some drinks, I don't remember, and we were about to go to a party, so I had my cup with a drink, and
how old were you? 20?
I think I was 21. It was
were...
legal, yeah,
okay.
of course. So I was about to get in the car with my friend, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I'm not gonna spill it in the car," because I thought it didn't want me to get in the car with the drink because I could spill it in the car, and he's like, "Are you crazy? You can't have a drink in a car. You have to have like, nothing has to be open and it has to be away from the driver." And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I had no clue. So I'm curious to see what this video is about, and maybe we can tell you if it is like that in Italy or not. So yeah, let's watch the video. But first, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video if you liked it, and also follow us on Instagram.
The collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 90s left the United States as the sole superpower in the world.
Oh, okay, maybe it's going to be a lot more about
of the world. The
army.
United States is indeed a superpower.
Why?
Especially when it comes
Don't
to
mess with them because
they
can invade you.
Okay.
Superiority, operational capabilities, and power projection across the globe. In this video, we'll take a look at the 5 top reasons why you wouldn't want to go against the US military establishment.
Okay.
The United States Air Force is the strongest in the world, not only in the number of operational aircraft, but also in technological superiority. The country currently operates a total of over 15,000 military aircraft, combining all the branches of the military service, including the US Navy, US Army, Coast Guard, and the US Marines. As of 2017, the US Air Force alone has a fleet of over 5,300 aircraft, 406 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and 170 satellites, greater than any other country in the world. The USA
a lot about
has the
the army.
largest number of stealth aircraft designed to be silent killers and untrackable by the radar defense systems of most countries in the world.
Interesting.
Some of these stealth aircraft include air superiority
Very
fighters
futuristic.
such as the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, heavy bombers such as the B-2 Spirit. In fact, the United States pioneered this technology in the 1980s with the introduction of the F-117 Nighthawk stealth attack aircraft.
That's impressive.
Stealth aircraft are designed to avoid detection
I'm impressed with
a variety of
the
technology.
technology.
Yeah,
how
they
they
look like,
Sea,
I don't know,
or air-based radar
that
antennas,
movie about the
reducing
future,
the
you
Coming
know.
from the future, like
CES. This revolutionary technology allows a 5th-generation aircraft, such as the F-22 Raptor, with a max takeoff weight of 83,500 pounds, to have a radar cross-section of just 0.0001 meters squared, about the size of a bumblebee. What's more insane is that the massive B-2 bomber also has the same radar cross-section as
like
the
a
F-22 Raptor.
I don't know.
An alien.
It's
Yeah.
difficult
Spaceship.
to track stealth aircraft.
But yeah, what's cool is that they're basically invisible. You cannot track them. And I'm curious to see when they're gonna talk about submarines, because I was watching video on YouTube, of course, and I'm really into weird stuff. Disaster and weird stuff. And I was watching a video where they basically, I think a French submarine and an American submarine, they had a collision underwater, and that's
Really?
Yes, it was a really small one, because it could have been like a huge disaster, because of course they
How is it possible? I mean, the ocean is huge.
it's
How
crazy.
can you-
How can they? But the fact is that they are invisible.
Yeah, but
You cannot track them, which is also crazy for the military that are inside submarines, because when they go into a mission, they have no contact with the external world, like no kind of contact.
so there is no radar that can hit them?
Nothing.
Wow.
Basically nothing, because of course they have to go undercover, you know? It's crazy that two submarines
Hit
were
each
in the
other.
same path, but that happened.
If the enemy spots them on their radar scopes, it's a whole other story to successfully track them and register a missile kill. The whole idea behind this technology is to break the chain in which a conventional surface-to-air missile defense system works. It's the same reason countries like China and Russia are also hard at developing their own stealth fighter, the Chengdu J-20 and the Sukhoi Su-57, respectively. These aircraft will allow the US Air Force to assert its air superiority over any battlefield of the future, and we all know that control of these skies is the biggest decider in any war. The next reason why any country going to war with the US military should think twice is because of the strength of the US Navy and its dominance over the world's ocean,
So maybe
especially
now they're
the
gonna
Navy's
talk
supercarriers.
about some.
I watched a video about a supercarrier too, and they're
How big are
largest
they?
aircraft carrier fleet in
Huge.
the world.
they have the
The
largest,
come
but
close in terms
it's a
of
little bit
technological
crazy.
Advancement is probably the Royal of the United Kingdom, but they only have 2 operational carriers.
Yeah, they have more than any other country, and the most advanced and the biggest. And this is also really, really crazy as a concept. First, they are huge, and they go into missions and they navigate into the ocean for months, and they go, even close to Korea and places just to show their presence, kind of.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Just to scare the enemy.
Carriers has a displacement of over 100,000 tons and can carry a complement of up to 70 aircraft. They're literally a floating small town in the ocean with its own airport.
Okay, yeah.
The Nimitz
It's
class
like a
carriers
little
in themselves
army,
are extremely
with
potent
70 planes.
offensive weapons, but the way they operate in what is called the carrier strike groups makes these ships even more deadly. A carrier seldom deploys.
Oh yeah,
alone.
they're always
a fleet of surface and underwater assets surrounding them and forming a strike group.
even
These
underwater,
include guided missile
just to
cruisers,
keep
a destroyer
any
squadron,
like
attack
any
submarines, and
try to
support
attack.
vessels.
That's
See?
They
somewhere.
project the power of the carrier and at the center of the group
Wow.
forward towards the enemy. While the carrier is carrying out its offensive role with the use of its air wing, the other ships are responsible to protect its flanks against any enemy attack. This combination of offensive and defensive strategy makes the US carrier strike group almost impenetrable. The United States Navy maintains 9 such carrier strike groups, 8 of which are based in the United States and 1 that's forward deployed to Japan. For over 50 years, this has been the principal element of US power protection, and the Nimitz class of supercarriers are at the center of it all. Despite this, the US is currently in the process of developing a new class of carriers called the Gerald R. Ford class, intended to replace the Nimitz class ships. This new supercarrier will be even more technologically advanced and is expected to continue US dominance of the oceans well into the late 21st century.
Wow.
The third reason why you shouldn't fight the US military is their massive stockpile of nuclear and conventional intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs.
That's
The ICBM
probably the
plays role
scariest.
of the
Yeah.
land leg in the US nuclear triad, along with the Trident submarine-launched ballistic missile (SLBM) and nuclear warheads carried on long-range strategic bombers. ICBMs are launched from ground-based missile silos, achieving high suborbital spaceflight, approximately 1,000 miles above the surface of the Earth. The body of the missile then separates from the warhead, which re-enters the atmosphere and free falls
It's
to the
kind of
assigned
like
targets
a
at hypersonic speeds.
Spaceship.
The US military currently operates 400 ICBMs from its base in Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota. The LGM-30G Minuteman III is the only type of ICBM that is currently operational in the US. The Minuteman III family of ICBMs were first developed in the 1960s as a response to the Soviet nuclear threat. Throughout the Cold War and beyond, these missiles have undergone constant modernization. In the last decade alone, the US military has undertaken $7 billion worth of upgrades. The rocket propulsion engines, the propellants used, the guidance system, and even the flight control surfaces have all been refurbished. The upgraded missiles are completely different from its 1960s counterparts, except for the shell. These state-of-the-art improvements and modernization programs have kept the Minuteman III system operational for over 50 years, with improved reliability that supports the missile's remarkable 99% alert rate. The latest versions of the missiles have a range of over 8,000 miles, which is greater than the diameter of the Earth at 7,917.5 miles. They can carry multiple 330 kiloton nuclear warheads, which is 20 times greater than the bombs dropped.
This is kind of scary. Can you imagine if there is any
Not only that,
accident with them?
warheads can be assigned to different targets independently.
Or
The
if
technology
our
is called multiple
war really
independently
start
targetable
between
munitions,
United States and
MRV.
maybe another country that had.
I have mixed feelings about all of this.
So any
Yeah, me
country
too.
messing with
I
the
mean,
United States
actually,
ought to
my
develop
feelings
this
are
awesome
clear.
arsenal
They're not positive.
at a moment's notice.
But
If it weren't the
yeah.
ICBMs or the stealth fighters raining fire down on you, it would be precision-guided munitions, or better known as smart bombs or PGMs instead. This is another big reason why not messing with the US military is a good idea. All branches of the US military use smart bombs in some forms or the other. These weapon systems are designed to be precise and hit a specific target with maximum efficiency. These bombs are so effective that during the First Gulf War, PGMs comprised only 9% of weapons fired, but accounted for 75% of all successful hits. Since then, for the US military at least, the days of normal artillery shells and unguided bombs are long gone. Nowadays, the military uses PGMs from air, ground, and sea. Precision-guided munitions come in various forms and use different kinds of technologies to achieve precise hits. A large majority of PGMs use the Global Positioning System, or GPS, of satellites to guide their trajectory to target. However, sometimes this becomes a problem, as GPS coverage is not always reliably available everywhere across the globe, or bad weather conditions can hinder operations. Thus, the Office of Naval Research, the Naval Surface Warfare Center, and the Army Research Laboratory have all coordinated to develop the first ever artillery-fired smart munition that will not use GPS guidance. The project is known as Moving Target Artillery Round, or MTAR for short. The MTAR shell can be guided onto stationary as well as moving targets in both land and sea, using a combination of guidance technology. The best part is that these shells can be fired from the existing M777A2 155mm towed howitzer and the M109A7 Paladin integrated management self-propelled 155mm artillery systems already in use by the US military. The shells will also feature an extended range of 40 to 60 miles using rocket boosters to propel them. Once finished, it will afford the US military another potent weapon system that outclasses others around the world. Lastly, the fifth and final reason why you shouldn't fight the US military is drones. We're all familiar with
they say
unmanned
drones are
aerial
gonna
vehicle
be
or
the-
drone is, and what it's
it's
supposed to
already.
do. But in recent years,
I didn't know it was
the ability of
already
UAVs
this
are
big. Oh my
steadily
god, that's a
increasing
huge
to
drone.
encompass
That's
Yeah.
kind of a
military
plane.
operations, and the US military is the pioneering spirit behind it. At first, used only for surveillance missions, drones were quickly weaponized after the 9/11 attacks and have been extensively used by the US military in the war against
In the
terror.
last
and
20
defensive
years.
It's been already
platform.
20 years.
It's forecasted that
I don't
over
know
the
why I
next
didn't.
decades,
I
the
thought
US
it
is
wasn't
in line
already a
to
thing,
purchase
but
over 1,000
apparently it's been a
combat
thing for
drones
20
of
years.
various classifications.
I mean,
Some
they
of
start
them,
20
like
years
the
ago.
Lockheed Martin RQ-170 Sentinel and the Boeing MQ-25 Stingray, are already in the final stages of development, and once finished, will provide the US military
Okay,
with
so
state-of-the-art
most of them are
platforms
not
Got it.
capable of
finished,
multi-role operations, ranging from attack missions to aerial refueling. Drone technology has reached such heights
Aerial
today
refueling,
that a single
yeah.
UAV can loiter miles above the surface of the Earth for hours, waiting for the target to show its head and sticking with impunity. This capability will allow all the services under the US military to reduce its dependency on manned platforms, thereby reducing the risks during future combat operations.
So it's gonna be like
These five
a
weapon
war
systems
between machine
make
and
the
the
US
future.
military
Like,
extremely
you put your
dangerous
drone
for
and
any
they kill
adversary
each other.
looking to get
I
into
know.
a conflict with them. In a
I mean,
conventional warfare
that's
setting,
for sure
it's
better.
almost impossible
Yeah,
to defeat
instead
a
of losing
military
people.
machine.
Yeah.
That's why
But
modern enemies of
I
the
don't know,
United
it's-
States are employing more and more asymmetric warfare strategies against the mighty US military. Despite that, the US military juggernaut is hands down the most powerful military complex in the world today, and probably will be
Yeah.
for decades to come. That's all we have for you today, folks. Thanks for
I
sticking
wonder
around till the end.
who's gonna probably, I don't know, be more powerful than the US in, I don't know, 50 years, 30 years. I don't know, probably China.
I don't know. I wonder also if other countries disclose their real assets and what they actually have. I don't know how the US can be so sure that other countries are not expanding their army more than what the US army already is.
Probably you can't really. I mean, you can hide
Because you
missile.
cannot detect, for example, some submarines and stuff, but I'm sure there are, secret services have these informations.
Yeah.
But I don't know what other country are competing against the US. Well, probably Russia, China. Also, the
Yeah.
United Kingdom, I'm understanding that has a lot of assets in this, of this kind. I don't know.
Yeah, but if I have to put my money in one country in that can beat probably the United States in the future, I will say probably China or maybe India, but I will say China more than India.
I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't know.
I have no clue. Well, this was interesting for sure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we're not really into the military stuff and that things. I don't know.
know a
It's
lot.
no. Yeah.
We don't know a lot. I don't think
Yeah.
we're that passionate, but it's
Yeah.
still interesting. You
Yeah,
know?
it is interesting. It's a bit sad. I mean, sad because you see a world where the powerful country need to have all this military stuff and spend a lot of money in stuff that are gonna kill other people and defeat other country and whatever. So that's a little sad to think about it, but for sure it is interesting. Yeah.
Thanks for watching us.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.